Okay, so we've been going through these linear programming problems in baby steps, taking it kind of step by step, where our first video and the first worksheet we focused on just how to graph the system of linear inequalities and how to use the vertices of the feasible region to figure out how to maximize the function. And then we spent the next worksheet just figuring out how to set up the inequalities. Today we're going to, or in this lesson, we're going to take and combine those two lessons into one here. So let's look at the problem. It says Shareholder Shelving Company produces two types of decorative shelves. The Old English style takes about 12 hours to assemble and 5 hours to finish. The Cool Contemporary style takes 6 hours to assemble and 10 hours to finish. Each day there are at most 48 worker hours available in the assembly department and at most 50 worker hours available in the finishing department. Shareholder Shelving makes a $150 profit on each Old English shelf and a $120 profit on each Cool Contemporary shelf. Advise Shareholder Shelving of how many of each style they should make to maximize the profit and inform them of how much profit they can expect to make each day. Okay, so this, like I said, is going to combine everything that we've talked about so far. If you're having trouble with these, the best way to start, even if you're not having trouble with these, the best way to start is to look to see what that function is going to be that's going to be maximized. Where we're trying to figure out how to maximize their profit. So we're going to look to see what part of this paragraph talks about their profits, which is right here. So that tells us what our, so the whole point in doing this is this tells us what our variables are going to be. The fact that we make a $150 profit on each Old English shelf and a $120 profit on each Cool Contemporary shelf tells me that that's what our variables are going to be. So we'll just keep it simple and use X and Y. We'll use X to represent our Old English style and Y to represent our Cool Contemporary style. So now that I know that, it's going to make it easier now to organize my information that we have up above there. It says the Old English style takes 12 hours to assemble and 5 hours to finish. So that tells me right there that I'm going to have an assembly inequality and a finishing inequality. Excuse me. So now what we're going to do is we're going to, like I said, fill in this information. So it takes 12 hours to assemble and 5 hours to finish an Old English style shelf. And it takes 6 hours to assemble and 10 hours to finish a Cool Contemporary shelf. Each day there are at most 48 hours, worker hours available in the assembly department. And 50 worker hours available in the finishing department. So now we can use our table to come up with our inequalities. Now, these are going to be less than or equal to because that's the most they had available. Because they had at most 48 hours available for the assembly and at most 50 worker hours. So at most implies less than or equal to. So our system of inequalities, that's what this should say, not equations, but inequalities, would be 12x plus 6y is less than or equal to 48, and 5x plus 10y is less than or equal to 50. We need to remember to include our common sense inequalities. And we should also write down what our profit function is. Our profit function is what we highlighted at the beginning there. So it's going to be 150 times our Old English, so 150x plus 120y. This is a function of our coordinates x and y. I already forgot what it was. 120x or 150x and 120y. Okay, now we're going to graph this. So to be able to graph this, these are in standard form. So remember, we talked about how to graph these in standard form with the end of that first worksheet. You're going to want to find the x and y intercepts and the slope. So our x-intercept, excuse me, our x-intercept is 4. Again, that's where you cover up the y, because you're replacing y with 0, so you take 48 divided by 12, which is 4. Then to find the y-intercept, you do the same with the x, cover up the x, and divide both sides by 6, and you get 8. Remember, the slope is the opposite of a divided by b. Well, negative 12 divided by 6 gives me negative 2. So I'm going to start with my y-intercept being 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My slope is negative 2. So I'm going to go down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. Sure enough, our x-intercept is 4 where it's supposed to be. This next one, my x-intercept is going to be, again, where y is 0, so I get my x-intercept is 10. My y-intercept is 5. And for this one, my slope would be the opposite of 5, so negative 5 divided by 10, which is negative 1/2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is my y-intercept. Go down 1 to the right 2. Don't forget to be shading these. So there's our feasible region. So when it says for the vertices, there's 4 vertices here. Okay, so our 4 vertices we're going to use. My first vertice, the top one there, is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to have 0, 0, 0, 5. And you'll see why I'm putting these blanks here in a second, because we're going to figure out what the profit is going to be at each of these vertices. So then I have the point 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, so the point 2, 4, and the point 4, 0. So now to figure out the value of each of these, we're going to plug these numbers into our function, just like we did before. So 0 put in for x, 0 we put in for y, well, that's going to be $0. 5 put 0 in for 150, that's 0. 5 times 120, well, that's $600. Put 2 in for 150, that's $300. Put 4 in there for y, so 4 times 120 is $480. And so we get $780 is that profit. And 4 times 150 is 600. So our maximum value would be, if they sold 2 of the Old English and 4 of the Cool Contemporary, that makes $780. If you notice there's a blank here for the advice, well, that's the advice that we need to give the company. Because it says advise the company how many of each style they should make to maximize their profit, and inform them of how much profit they can expect to make each day. So our advice would be to maximize profits, they should make 2 of the Old English style and 4 Cool Contemporary style, for a profit of $780. So basically, the only thing new today is that we're taking and combining everything into one, and then just making sure that we summarize what our findings are down at the bottom here. But otherwise, it's just like what we were doing in those previous examples. Excuse me. So hopefully that is enough for for you to be able to understand how to put these all together. And good luck on your assignment.